Well, howdy folks, we are out here at the range and thanks for joining the Eagle's Nest. In this video, I kind of wanted to showcase what I do to prepare for PRS season. With PRS season in full effect as of right now, I got a new rifle set up in a different caliber that I'm going to be taking out. So behind me, I have basically a tire barricade setup, kind of a pyramid that I built here. And all around here, all through here, I have a bunch of targets set up all the way out to basically 1,200 yards. So the targets I'm going to be practicing on today and showing you guys what I do for positional shooting is about 1 MOA and 1.5. At the local PRS matches, at least where I live in here in Arizona, usually they have targets that are about 1.5 MOA. So in this video, I'm going to basically showcase how I prepare myself and my rifle to practice for PRS season. Stay tuned, you'll like this one. So to kind of go over the gear that I'm using, the number one thing I always recommend to do, and first thing as a purchase, would be some binos, specifically range finding binos. Now, what I'm rocking out are the Sig Kilo 3000 BDXs, and these things are phenomenal. They have a built-in rangefinder. The clarity is awesome, and these things work very well. They pair up with the Kestrel, and I have this right now on a Leofoto tripod. Now, what I have here for chaps, these are, I really recommend these. You can see how I have my Sig Kilo set up with my Kestrel. These are from Fayou Outdoors. Huge shout out to Colin. Colin runs the company called Fayou Outdoors. Made in the USA. Everything is hand stitched there. These are awesome to have, good add-on to have. You know, gives you a little basket here to add weight for your tripod so this thing doesn't go tumbling over. So as you can see in my arm, I have a dope chart. Kind of go over this. Now, previously I've already verified my dope on this load. I'm shooting a 25 Creedmoor, and I have written down on paper my dope for basically 10 mile-per-hour wind holds, and I also have a little blank spot for writing down the stage dope. So let me zoom in here and show you guys what I got going on. So on screen, if you guys can see this, I have a 1 MOA target at 385 yards. I'm going to be practicing on some barricades here, basically a tire rack, and I'm pretty much going to go about this pretty simplistic and see how I'm capable of holding MOA at that distance on a 1 MOA target, shooting in positional shot. So let's go ahead and practice this. So my primary bag that I mostly use is my Armageddon Medium. Now this has a very heavy fill, so for some folks this might be a little bit too heavy to manipulate the whole rifle pickup and all that. So this rifle itself weighs roughly 18 pounds as it's set up. So basically how we're gonna go about this is plop it down, plop the rifle down, and it's all about target acquisition. We pretty much know the general idea where the berm is, so I'm gonna keep my eye on the berm. Let's go ahead and get this Tatscam up and rolling. I'm gonna keep my eye on the berm. I know where the target's at, so when I get behind the rifle, I should automatically get my sight picture. So right there, I was right on it. So like I said, keeping your eye right where the general direction is for your target acquisition. Two ways to go about it. You could go in a kind of a kneeling position like this. You don't want to be on the ball of your heel. That kind of makes your muscles fatigue. It makes your leg kind of shake and all that, and all of that turns into shaking on the rifle. So you could go about it by going to the flats of your feet, sit on your heel if you can. This is a nice, very sturdy platform. You know, kind of a triangle how I'm sitting here. So we'll go ahead and find a target here, and I'm sitting on the flats of my feet, barely preloading the rifle. Impact. So dope was 1.3 mils, and that was the first round impact, so I'm pretty happy with that. From here, there's another position you could try out if sitting on the flats of your feet aren't really comfortable. You could get up in a kneeling position. If you're right-handed, use your right leg upwards. Again, you want to try to use the bottom, the flat of your feet right here, not sitting on the ball of your heel, because like I said, all of that ends up becoming muscle fatigue. So if you get a nice kind of a triangle position, you have your right foot flat. If you're right-handed, your right foot's flat, like so you're not on the ball of your heel. Use your right hand and use your knee as a kind of a tripod support. This is another really comfortable position for a low shot like this. We'll go ahead and try another shot here. Impact. So That's another good position. You can see on a Tacticam, I'm still kind of shaking around. So this is kind of where the practice really comes in handy. You know, just because your rifle can shoot a 1/2 inch, the biggest question is, can you hold MOA on a target? And all of that, you know, it really dictates you going out there and practicing. So I always tell folks, and I stress this enough, spend less time behind a reloading bench and trying to fine tune a rifle. What's going to help you win the match is how well you can hold down range. So if your rifle is shooting at least a 1 MOA group and you can hold the 1 MOA target, well, you're going to make your impact. So I can't stress this enough. Spend less time behind a reloading bench, more time out there shooting and seeing what your rifle does. So we're going to try another target now. It's going to be around 460 yards. Okay, so for this shot, we're going to use the top of the tire here. So what I'm running here for this is a sky pod. Now this thing's like a transformer. Kicking the legs down, spring it all the way wide, and extending it will allow me to basically put the rifle right on top of a big tire like this. I'll use the rear bag, or the Armageddon Medium, as my rear bag. Again, when we go for target acquisition, we're going to stare at the target downrange. We know the general idea of where it's at. We're going to get behind the rifle. We should be able to see it right away. Let's get this Tacticam up and running. This is calling for 2 mils. So there's my target, again 10x. And we'll hold dead center. Impact. See, so knowing your dope is a huge factor, and honestly, when you're downrange and you get a load developed, the first thing you want to do is build yourself a dope chart. I see a lot of folks really kind of you know, rely on the Kestrel, and honestly the Kestrel is a really good tool. You got to know how to calibrate that thing correctly, but the thing about it is it's still a tool. I mean, it's not going to be 100% accurate. In fact, my Kestrel is telling me to hold 2.1 mils, and looking at this target here, I basically needed to be about 1.9, so I hit about say 12 o'clock on plate. But my dope at 2 mils is perfect. I think I'm going to go ahead and use that again. But again, like I said, I really stress this. Go out and shoot your rifle and get a good dope written down. Now, I did this about a couple weeks ago, and the dope hasn't changed. It seems to be working out here pretty well. So we have one more target at 600 yards. Let's go ahead and get set up for that. Okay, our next target is a diamond at 680 yards. So that is calling for 3.8 mils. I'm probably going to hold left side of plate. Now, this is another thing I was telling folks to learn. Every rifle has its own characteristic, and basically what I'm talking about is spin drift. At what distance does your spin drift come in hand on your rifle? Now, the way this rifle's set up, very light recoil, I really don't notice much spin drift. So technically for this rifle, it's roughly about 1/10 to 2/10 of a left hold when you have 0 wind. So again, we're going to go ahead and find our target downrange. I see it, I'm staring at it. Going to get behind the rifle. This time I'm actually going to, I'll try a standing position first. Big old nice tripod stance. I see my target here. Let's go ahead and preload the rifle a little bit. Impact. That was right on plate, and that was the last shot. So 1 for 1 all the way out to 680 yards. You know, that's that's pretty happy with that. Like I said, these are all MOA targets, so we'll go ahead and run those positions, kind of show you guys demonstration of what I'm doing here. So we're gonna go ahead and run through all 3 plates here. I got about 5 shots and 2 extra shots in case. Start off with the 380 yard target first. I'm going to basically start off this tire here first. So don't have a buzzer, but we'll simulate it. Shoot ready, go. So I see the target, looking down range, I see it, get behind the rifle. Impact. Next target is at 2 mils. I see it on the rifle. Impact. Next target, 3.9. Scoot over a little bit. Impact. That was barely on plate. So we'll do one more time here. Oh, that was a miss. All right, let's try this on top of the tire here. So for this, I'm going to go ahead. So I'm just running this pretty slow and smooth. Go ahead and we're going to extend the bipod. I'm going to use the top of the tire here. Set it on top. A little bit too high. All right. Watch the canting. See the target behind the rifle. Impact. So we dropped 1 point, which is typical. Positional shot, like I said, shooting an MOA target is pretty tough. We got some more targets. Well, some at 600, also 1,000. So let's give those a try. All right. So the next target we have is roughly 621 yards. So it's a circle. It's roughly a 6-inch plate. So basically MOA target. I know where it is. I can see it in my general sight. I'm going to use the top of this tire again. I'll go ahead and drop the rifle down. I'm still staring at the target. I see it. I see it. Positioning the bag behind the rifle. Got my sight picture. So, one MOA target. Tat scans up and rolling. Probably gonna have to hold roughly 4/10. I'm gonna favor a little higher. Impact. So it looked like it was just right of plate. We'll do another shot here. We'll hold about 4/10. See where that puts us. Dead center. So those are good shots. Like I said, spin drift, I'm having to hold 2/10 plus a little bit of wind. So at this distance, yep, it is coming into play. Like I said, these are the things you have to learn on your rifle, the characteristics of each rifle. This one's got a 2/10 spin drift, and add on top of that your wind hold. We do have a target now at 1,000 yards. It's roughly 998. We'll see if we can make an impact off the tire. Okay. So at 997 yards, I have a 10-inch plate, so MOA target as well. Let's get this tat cam up and rolling again. We have about 5 shots in. It is calling for 7.1 mils. Now, in this game of PRS, it's all about recoil mitigation. So that's one thing, how I have this thing set up. You can see it in the video. It's very light recoiling. Honestly, this thing recoils less than my 6 Creedmoor. Now, we're going to go ahead and use the top of this tire again. I see the target. Pretty bright out there, painted white. A little bit more elevation. Look at checking my canting. 7.1 mils. We'll hold half mil left. See where that puts us. Ooh, looked like it was just under. So that was a miss. Let's try 7.2. Impact. There it is, and you can see that impact. You guys can check it out on the Tacticam. It is dead center. So 7.2. So let's put a notation on that dope. 990 yards. It is 7.2. We'll send another one just to confirm. Gonna save all my brass. So half mil hold is definitely the key. Impact, same spot. We'll try one more here. Impact, and it's holding like a 3-inch group, so this thing is dead on. I'm pretty happy with this load. Next up, we have a 1200 yard target. Let's see if we can make an impact off a tire. Okay, next target up is 1,180 yards, so 20 yards short of 1200 yards. Pretty stretching it out there. There's not many PRS matches that go out that far, but honestly, knowing your dope at those distances are going to really help you out. Not to mention really calibrate your DSF or your calibration factor on your Kestrel. So for this cartridge, it's telling me around 1,100 yards to calibrate. That's why I have a target out there. But regardless, I have a couple PRS matches that I go to that do reach out past this. So let's see how this 25 Creedmoor does. This is a 12-inch plate at 1,180 yards. Dope is calling for 9.5. We're probably going to hold about 0.6 of wind here. So I see it. I might have to come up a little bit on my bipod here. It's a Diamond 1,200 yards. 9.5. Check it out, my canting. We're going to hold about 6 or 0.7. Oh man, right there. So a little bit more. So 0.8 is the wind hold. That was almost a first round impact. Impact. So about 3 or 4 seconds for the report, but that's pretty good. Let's see if it holds a group. 0.8. Check out the wind. One thing you really want to focus on downrange is mirage, and I don't see any, so we're just going to hold 0.8 straight up. Too much. So in between 8 and 7, so 7/10 is probably the wind hold. Try that one more time. Yep, a little bit too much wind, so it's hard to tell at this distance. You can see I got a little bit more wind picking up. Make sure my canting was right. Let's try one more shot here. We'll hold about 0.6. Impact. So pretty tough shot, especially in a standing position. You know, these are things that, like I said, you really have to practice on. Now, as you can see here, this rifle's clear, by the way, so I'm not muzzling myself. What I have is a little gun belt holder. Now, it's always really good to have an extra spare mag. Sometimes on a, on a barricade or something, you may have a mag issue or jam or something stupid. It's actually faster for you to drop the mag, slip on a new one. So what I'm using is a G-Code holster. G-Code is stationed in North Carolina, USA made. These are fantastic holders. I have basically this set up with an RTS wheel for my 2-gun competition. Obviously, you don't have the holster with me, but very sturdy. It holds the AICS mags very well, and pretty happy. The performance of the 25 Creedmoor, as you can see, it's pretty promising. The recoil is very minimal, and it is making my impacts really easy. So pretty much got first round impacts on all the steel out here, and that's it's doing pretty well. So these are some of the little tips and pointers that I do to practice for PRS. honestly, the more proficient you could get on making your first run impacts, the better you're going to do at a match. And honestly, the only difference that I don't have in today's, practice is the pressure. I don't have a shot timer, and usually the stages run about 60 to 90 seconds. There are going to be some stages that are about 30 seconds, and you got 4 positions to pretty much shoot off of. So, the main focus to really take away from this video is not to spend as much time behind a reloading bench and behind a 100-yard target. Honestly, you want to get a good group. SDs, you don't really have to focus so much on SDs. I say you want to be able to get around a 13 SD, get your load development down to near ½ inch. If you get a 3/4 MOA, that's actually good enough. And go out there and practice. Try to go prone, get your dope card all set up, and shoot for targets all the way out to 800 yards to 1,000, and get the dope written down correctly. See how that rifle performs. You want to make sure it holds an MOA group. After that, shooting in positional shots off barricades and all that, possibly a ladder rack or a tire, even the back of a pickup truck will work. Practice on your positional shooting and see if you could hold an MOA group. And it's pretty tough. You can still see it on the Tacticam that I'm still kind of wobbling. So it takes that little bit of practice to kind of know how to time your shots, get that proper trigger pull, get all your fundamentals down right. The main thing about shooting 800 yards plus is then, your canting comes into play. So again, another product that I don't have on this rifle, but I do have it on the chassis, is a bubble level. So I do recommend the LRA Send It unit. It's a very awesome, LED style unit. Bolts on to either a spur mount, or you can have it Picatinny, and it gives you a little LED red, blue, and green. So basically how it works is, I have it mine mounted vertical, and it will basically tell you if you're canted left or right. It'll be red or green, or red or blue. And once you see green, use with both eyes open, that kind of tells you you're leveled, and go ahead and send it. Hence the name. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I want to know what you guys think. Comment below. Like I said, I'm pretty much going to continue practicing, making sure that this rifle's dialed in for PRS this season. Pretty happy with the performance. It's all about recoil mitigation, spotting your misses if you did miss, and knowing how to correct, and practicing your first round impacts. So y'all stay safe. Comment below. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something today. If anything, hope it kind of entertained you, and I'll see you on the next video.